Hello, this is Robert Plenick, the owner of Brutal Iron Gym. I'm here for a video today to answer a question. The question was, what is the correct rep ranges for bodybuilders to train in? And generally speaking, there's about 3 ranges usually of reps that people will perform. One category is strength, and that's generally 1 to 5 reps. Then the middle category would be 6 to 12 reps, and that's muscle building, which is also called hypertrophy. And then anything over 12 reps, like 15 or more, is usually considered muscular endurance or cardiovascular endurance. So generally speaking, people usually in bodybuilding, they'll tend to do a lot of sets of 10s, sets of 12s, and that was the question that came up, is that the proper rep range for bodybuilders? So here at Brutal Iron Gym, we do host interns from the local university every semester, and this is kind of like one of those topics that comes up where they'll read in textbooks what it says, and then they're kind of asking in a real-world application, is that textbook information correct? So what I want to do is make a quick video. I realized when I wrote all this stuff here on the board that you might not be able to actually read it all, so hopefully you can just kind of listen and follow along. Next time I'll try to figure out how to kind of zoom in and get it a little bit better. But the idea we want to go through today is kind of answer that question, is what is the proper rep range for bodybuilders? So the category we have over here on the left is muscle building, and that's a hypertrophy, and that's generally where most bodybuilders are going to stay. Generally the rep range for that is 6 to 12. So most of them will be doing 10 to 12 reps. If you drop down to the 6 or 8, that's kind of a little bit of a higher intensity because you can usually use heavier weights. So they're going to feel like that's kind of their heavier style training. Then sets of 10 to 12 are still within their range, but it allows a small, like a little bit of a lighter weight. So not much of a difference, but a little bit of a lighter weight. And they feel like they can maybe focus on squeezing a little better than with a little bit heavier weights. So generally, that's what they'll be doing pretty much every workout, is sets of 6 to 12. And then each muscle group they want to train about 1 to 2 times per week. So if it's a muscle group you want to bring up in comparison to others, you'll probably be training that twice a week. If it's a muscle group that you think is good, and you just want to make sure it kind of maintains or builds slowly as other things catch up, you'll be training that once a week. So that's kind of what these first parts here say. And then for sets, this is a really general number, and the reason why I'll just throw it out there is people do like numbers. But it is general, so it's going to change per person. But for bigger muscle groups like your chest, your back, your thighs, generally anywhere from 16 to 24 working sets. So that doesn't include warm-ups. A working set we can kind of define as it takes work to do it, so it's actually kind of hard to do. So whereas warm-ups are generally pretty easy. So it would be 16 to 24 working sets. And then for smaller muscle groups like shoulders, triceps, biceps, generally they're going to be anywhere from 12 to 16 working sets. Again, this can be variance per person, but if you're not sure what to do, these are good numbers to start with, and then you can kind of change from there. So generally, why do people do that rep range 6 to 12 with that frequency, that working sets, if their goal is bodybuilding, is because those muscle fibers that are trained in that range contribute the most to size. So generally we have, in our body, we have 3 kind of muscle fiber types. There's I think it's type 1A and 1B and then type 2, but generally there's 3, so I don't know why they just didn't call them 1, 2, 3. But there are muscle fibers that respond to strength training, which can be something like, say, like a activity that's like 10 seconds or less, a really big burst of energy, and you're trying to just get something really heavy moved really quickly. Then there's the middle range fibers, which kind of fall into this rep range, where they're trained anywhere from, say, generally speaking, you could say anywhere from like 30 seconds up to maybe all the way up to 90 seconds, somewhere in that range. So about 30 to 90 seconds. Those are kind of the middle range fibers. Then anything for 90 seconds or longer is mostly endurance muscle fibers. So when you're training bodybuilding, you're trying for the effect of larger muscles. And it is the muscle fibers that do the activities from 30 seconds, say up to 90, that contribute the most to size. So that's why people are going to do activities or working sets that last anywhere from 30 up to 90 seconds. And generally that's that 6 to 12 rep range. So that's assuming you have good form, you're under control the whole time. So there's definitely some assumptions made with these rep ranges. But that's generally where most people spend their bodybuilding. However, when I talk to the interns and when I work with my clients, we do tend to push them outside of that range on a regular basis, and that's what the video was, the point of the video was for, is why do we do anything outside of that middle range? So if the middle range fibers contribute the most to muscle size, why would we train anything else? So you can see the next category we have here in red is strength training. And generally, the reasons why that's important for bodybuilders to focus on strength is that rep range of 6 to 12. If currently right now a guy can say do 80-pound dumbbells for 10 reps of a chest press, if he can get strong enough to then do 100-pound dumbbells for 10 reps, he's going to be able to get a lot bigger. So if he only ever always trains 10 reps, he's going to get some strength for sure over the years, but it's not going to be as fast of an increase as if he were to drop down and actually train the strength fibers and train within that strength rep range. So the strength rep range you can see written here, I have it listed as 3 to 5 reps. Generally, if you're doing 1 rep of something, that's more of a display of strength rather than something that would actually build your strength. So generally we have clients do 3 to 5 reps. Some of the other side benefit of doing 3 to 5 reps versus 1 is it allows for a little bit of variance in form. So if you're a bodybuilder and you don't go heavy very often, your form might not be super duper crisp. So if you have 3 or 5 reps where the weight's a little bit lighter and you get 1 or 2 reps to kind of fix things, you can be slightly off balance and correct it. Whereas with just 1 rep and something really heavy, it either has to be correct or you're going to get injured. So using a rep range of 3 to 5, it's still within that strength category, but it allows for a little more time under tension for the muscles and allows for a little bit of variance in form without an immediate injury. So of course you want to have your form perfect as you can, but there's always going to be small deviations. So the frequency we would do this as bodybuilders is anywhere from 2 to 4 times per month. And that refers to per kind of body group. So if I'm doing, if you think you can split your body into like kind of push muscles, pull muscles, and legs. So our push muscles for our upper body is our chest, our front of our shoulders, and our triceps, the back of our arms. Those are the things we use when we bench press, we push something away from our body. Those are the main movers. So if we do something that's a pull, like say a pull up or a row, that's generally your back muscles, the back of your shoulders to some degree, and your biceps. So if you consider the upper body just split into push and pull, and then we have our lower body, which would be your legs. So we would want to train each of those categories, so something for push, something for pull, and something for legs. We would like to train that 2 to 4 times per month. So basically that's every week you do it once, or every other week you would do it once. And what we're looking for, what I mean by do it once, what it is 3 to 5 sets of 3 to 5 reps. So a person would pick, like, let's say squats, barbell squats. They would do their warm-ups and they would aim for working sets, 3 to 5 working sets of anywhere from 3 to 5 reps. So if they can't do at least 3 sets of 3 reps, then it's too heavy and they would need to lighten the load. If they can do 5 sets of 5 reps and do them very cleanly, then we would want to add weight the next time they come into the workout. So they want to repeat that strength component of the workout. So, and then some of the reasons, again, why we do strength training is it allows you to use heavier weights then during your mid-range, your 6 to 12 rep sets. So as you get stronger, you can use more weight in those mid-range ones, and that equals more stress and tension damage to the muscle fibers, and will eventually lead them to be bigger muscle fibers. So the other kind of category we have, let me switch sides if you can actually read this board, not sure. But we have in blue here is the endurance. So, and the reason why we would want to train muscular endurance as a bodybuilder is it actually has a lot of side benefits. So one of the benefits is it will contribute to some growth, so in the muscle size. Now it might be a very small percentage, so maybe our endurance fibers only contribute, say, 10% to overall muscle size. That's still 10% we would want. So if I told you you can only get 90% on something, you would want that other 10%. So if you're only ever training in the mid-range, that's 6 to 12 reps, you're missing the size that might be coming with the strength fibers or that might be coming with the endurance fibers. So you want to kind of branch out and use a little bit of those other rep ranges to get whatever size is available in those muscle fibers. So, and generally how we kind of define endurance is it's going to be 15 reps or more. So maybe sets of 20, sets of 25, sets of 30, something like that. So, and generally these are activities where you finish the set not because you can't lift it anymore, but because it burns so bad you can't continue. So maybe you're doing a set of lateral raises and the muscle is burning so much in your shoulder that your form starts to deviate and change, so therefore you're failing because it's actually not that it's too heavy, it's just that it's burning too much. So that would be kind of a definition of an endurance activity, is that it's light enough that you can keep going, but the burning pain is what causes you to stop. So generally, like we said, that's 15 reps. And the frequency you'd want to do this as a bodybuilder would be every single workout. So if I'm training my push muscles for the day, say I'm training chest, I want to spend the majority of my workout absolutely in that muscle building range, that 6 to 12. But maybe towards the end or at the very beginning as a part of a warm-up, I might want to hit some of those higher rep ranges. And that, like we said, kind of gets you these side benefits of the endurance fibers. So and in our sets are anywhere like 1 or more. So if it's a muscle group, you just want to kind of touch lightly on it. You can just throw one quick set in there and maybe throw some techniques like rest pause or drop sets, supersets, something like that. So you'd want to throw an intensity technique if you're only going to do maybe one set to make sure it's a really, kick butt, like a hard one set. Or you can kind of do 2, 3, maybe up to 4 or 5 sets. So generally, though, you don't want to spend the majority of your workout doing endurance activities if you're a bodybuilder, but you do want to do a little bit. So that's what we're kind of like, the point of the video is saying is, as a bodybuilder, we do want to spend most of our time in that proper rep range, but we still want to deviate a little bit here or there to get the benefits of the other rep ranges. So, and the benefits, like we said, is going to be there is some size contribution with endurance fibers. Like we said, it might be very small, but it's still something, so you still want to make sure you get it. Some of the other benefits is it increases work capacity. So what that means is if I'm in better kind of shape, if I can handle more sets and reps, if I can do more work, that means I can eventually translate that to more work done within that 6 or 12 reps. So what I mean by that is, say I do 4 sets of 10 reps, and that makes me out of breath, that makes me kind of worn out and I'm tired. That might not be enough. So if we do more endurance activities, now all of a sudden your work capacity, what you can handle, now maybe you can handle 5 or 6 sets of 10 instead of only 4. So that contributes to the amount of work you can do in that middle range if you do a little more endurance fibers every now and then. So, and then we have our cardiovascular benefits. So as bodybuilders, you will spend some time maybe doing cardio, but if you do too much, it does impair muscle building. So, however, everybody wants to kind of work on healthy heart. So if you do more endurance activities with weights, that'll still give you the heart benefits that you would otherwise have gotten from, say, like walking on the treadmill or doing a steel Stepmaster, something like that. So by doing some endurance activities, it will get you that cardiovascular benefit that you might be afraid you're missing by doing bodybuilding training. So, and then our last category we have over here, kind of the takeaway message for this video, is in every single workout as a bodybuilder, you still want to do something that causes you to fail because it's too heavy to continue safely. So that would be kind of like our strength activities. And like we said, that's anywhere from 3 to 5 reps. So it's so heavy at 5 reps that if you were to try a 6, you knew the form would be bad, so you have to kind of stop for safety reasons. So that's something you want to definitely touch on. And like we said, that would be anywhere from 2 to 4 times per month doing an activity that's really, really heavy in that 3 to 5 range. And then we want to also make sure that every workout we do something that burns so bad that that's why it causes us to fail. So, and that would be, like we said, the endurance fibers, the endurance activities. So if you're doing sets of 30, you want to throw those in every workout, like even if it's only one set, because you will then get the benefits of that endurance activity. So this video says, and the kind of the title implies, that this is bodybuilding training. You can actually apply these concepts to all sorts of training, whether you have a strength athlete who's like, say, like a powerlifter or a strongman. They would spend maybe the majority of their time in that strength range, but they would still want to get into the bodybuilding range for the bodybuilding effects and still get into the endurance range for the endurance effects as well. So it's one of those things where no matter what category you fall under, whether you're a strength athlete, a muscle building athlete, or an endurance athlete, you don't want to stay only in that window. You do want to branch out a little bit into the other categories to get the effects, the benefits that the other categories have. So generally speaking, got back to the original question of what rep range is correct for a bodybuilder. It will be mostly that mid-range 6 to 12 reps, But like we say on here on the board and went through the video, you still want to throw in some strength stuff every now and then, and still throw in some endurance activities. Okay, hopefully that helps. If you couldn't read the board and you wanted to really have a write down or a description of this, feel free to send me an email. Our email for the business is brutalirongym. That's all small letters, all one word, brutalirongym @gmail.com. And I have an electronic file, like a Microsoft Word file. I have all this stuff written down here, and I can send it to you. So hopefully this video helped, and thank you for watching.